exciting, exciting moment. I've been telling everybody about that today. Because, you know, over the years, I've always been a resident of the Barrier Island, ever since moving to the area almost 30 years ago. And I always absolutely loved this facility, and it was sad for me to watch it just decline, to the point where, you know, just roped off, people couldn't come, totally deteriorated. So this is a really big accomplishment. You can look out the window and see what the city has already done. It's amazing what $50 million look at you. But you know, seriously, I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of making things happen and watching things like this come back so the public can enjoy. People can come from all over the world and experience what we have in Fort Lauderdale. And now, what we're here to do today, these buildings on the east and west side of the peninsula are going to bookend what you see outside these windows. It's exciting. I cannot wait to return for the ribbon cutting. I wanted to thank everybody in this room for everything that you've done to make this a reality. Hasn't always been smooth sailing, a couple little bumps in the road, but that's okay. That's my business. I'm used to it. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of the partners. Thank you to the team, ISHOF, and everyone else in this room, Pencil Felt. Folks, this is a major, major accomplishment. You should be so proud, so proud. I know I am, and I'm thrilled to be here and happy that all of you are here to share in this. And let's just say congratulations to everybody.
I'm Bill Kent. I'm chairman of the board of the Hall of Fame, for those of you who do not know me. And yesterday I had a meeting with ChatGPT. So I'd like to start out. Today is history in the making. So I'd like to have you think back with me around 100 years. The casino pool, which you may have seen the pictures of, was built between 1928 and 1929. So very shortly it'll be exactly 100 years. How did this happen back 100 years ago? Well, there was a mayor. His name was Will Reed. There was a Dr. Kistler, who was the city manager. There was a guy named Stallings, a very influential guy, and then a local businessman named Frank Stranahan. And you've all heard of the Stranahan House. So they created this project, the casino pool, to accomplish 5 goals: tourism development, community recreation, promote health and fitness, for civic pride and modernization of Fort Lauderdale, because I guess Fort Lauderdale had already had a few gray hairs, and then finally to host events and competitions. So that was their vision 98 years ago. And I think that same footprint holds today. And then the other interesting thing I learned was that Olympic hero Johnny Weissmuller lended his name to the project, even though he didn't live here. Okay, he had won 3 golds and a bronze at the 1924 Paris Olympics, and then at the 1928 Olympics in Amsterdam, he had 2 more golds. So he was a national hero for the country, and he provided legitimacy to the project, because back then, who knew what Fort Lauderdale was about? He was mostly known to be Tarzan in the movies. 40 years after that 1920s event, he came back with a second group of civic leaders and provided credibility for the formation of the International Swimming Hall of Fame on the new property that replaced the original pool. The 1960s group of leaders included Jack Nelson, swimmer and coach and honoree in the Hall of Fame, Buck Dawson, who was the first executive director, and he's the one that really had the vision about creating this Swimming Hall of Fame here in Fort Lauderdale. A guy named Whitey Overton, a local business guy. The mayor's name was Bill Horan. Judge G. Harold Martin organized all the funding to make it happen, and funny enough, Johnny Weissmuller came back, okay, and was the first chairman of the board of the Swimming Hall of Fame. So our new current journey started in 2018 when our city and the Hall of Fame signed a new 30-year lease, because our lease had originally run out in 2015. The dominoes have begun to fall since then, and they just keep falling over until today. So this is truly a moment in history, if you think about it, from the concept of the 20s and the 60s, and now here we are. We all know that the center pool and the dive well needed to be replaced, and that the stands had been condemned in 2015, so there were no meets after 2015. But then there was another magic moment when the mayor attended a VIP luncheon at the Riverside Hotel, which was part of the 2018 induction ceremonies. Bruce Wygo, who I'm pleased is here this morning, had created a sketch of a 27-meter dive tower that he saw when he went to China for a high dive meet. And the mayor came in, I was in the room, and it was full of all these big wheels from all of the famous aquatic organizations. He saw that sketch, and he went over to the city manager at the time and said, call back to the, I happened to be standing right next to him, call back to the office and first he asked, how much does it cost? And somebody said around $3 million. So he said to the city manager, call back to the office and see if we can find $3 million. I want that dive stand to be included here. About 20 minutes later, I got the call back. The answer was yes. So I'll forever be grateful for the mayor for having the vision and the leadership to make that happen. He just said, let's build that tower. Why is that tower important? Well, there are a lot of places that want to hold meets that compete with Fort Lauderdale. Indianapolis being the most recent, most famous one. They did a really great job, didn't they, of selling Indianapolis at the trials. So what we have here is what's called, in business, where I live, a strategic competitive advantage with this high dive tower. Nobody else has one of those. There is one in Salt Lake City that Ellie Smart built, but that's it. And they're not really competitive for the things we're talking about here. So who should history record as a leadership group making history today? The mayor, for sure. Our commissioner, Stephen Glassman, for sure. Both of them have been consistently supportive of keeping the Hall of Fame alive and making this event happen. Mario Caprini has had the vision and created a viable 3P project out of it. I've never seen anybody more intense than Mario when it comes to making it happen.
Here we go.
Mario.
And then the next guy on my list is Corey Olson, because Hensel Phelps makes it real with their talented team of construction experts. And it gives the city the confidence of knowing that when it happens, it's going to be done correctly the first time.
We're the yin and the yang.
And then finally, the other guy, and he's not here, is Bill Brown from the CBA, from the Central Business Alliance. He had, if that organization had fought with any of us over the accomplishment of this goal, we probably would have sank. So that's those are the people that I think are part of the history of this moment today. So I'll wrap it up just by reminding you of the three key aspects of what's the purpose of our International Swimming Hall of Fame. The most obvious one is to honor the great heroes and achievements in the world of aquatics with our annual induction ceremonies. You know, we had Michael Phelps last year, and we'll have it again this year, every year. The second purpose of the Hall of Fame is to maintain the library that documents the history of the relationship between the human race and aquatic activities, and we're so blessed that Bruce Wygo, even though he's retired as the executive director, he's still a part of us, and we really appreciate his contributions. And then our third purpose is the spiritual mission of every child a swimmer, which Judge Martin inspired in me in the 1980s when I first got involved with it. And Casey McGovern isn't here, but we have a full-time person that is 100% committed to teaching children from financially disadvantaged families to swim. We're doing very well in terms of raising money, and we're doing very, very well in terms of teaching kids to swim. So it's a huge success. So thank you all for your support.
I have a few words as well, if I may. It's only 17 pages.
Payback.
All right, well, I see some new faces here and some familiar faces. For the people who don't know me, I'm Mario Caprini, the managing member of Hall of Fame Partners, CGP Development, which is a partnership between Ansel Phelps and Capital Group. Capital Group is our family company, and here with me today is my partner in life and in business, Eddie. Eddie Sua, who was instrumental in encouraging, supporting, and providing guidance and knowledge in her field of expertise. Eddie, what a journey it's been to get us here today. And a special thank you for putting up with my special kind of crazy, which a lot of people have been seen with. Okay? So today is about a story of perseverance, vision, and teamwork. Without every single person in this room, and many that could not attend today, this project would not have been possible. This was not a one-person or a 10-person group. This was a big, big collaboration. And I clearly remember when this project started 4 years ago. Ansel Phelps, who at the time I was working on another project with this new crazy P3 model that I've been working on, asked if I could apply this model to the International Swimming Hall of Fame and to the Aquatic Peninsula redevelopment. And I said, well, let's meet with everybody and figure out what the wants and the needs are, and I'll let you know if I can do it. I gotta tell you one more thing. I can't express enough gratitude for Kirk and Justin, Corey's former and present bosses, and the board of Ansel Phelps, who were all crazy enough to back this idea and let us start this project. And a special thank you to Corey Olson, who I see as my co-developer, my partner, my builder, my friend. And he's like family to me. He was supporting us, challenging us, helping us become better version of ourselves. And you can't talk about Corey without talking about Michelle. And as you know, things happen in our company because Michelle makes it happen. Corey talks about it, Michelle does it. So thank you for everything you do, much appreciated. And I know a lot of you put up with my crazy stuff like my wife does, but you know it's all from the heart. The first meeting we had with the Hall of Fame, and we looked to see what they were looking for. They wanted a new reimagined museum, a model that could pay for all the capital improvements, generate income for the museum, and pay for itself. While they were talking, I clearly remember hearing in the back of my mind the theme song of Mission Impossible. Then I met with some city officials and asked them what their take on this potential redevelopment of the museum, and they were skeptical, rightfully so, but they were receptive to a reimagined museum with new facilities, and then they told us that we would have to meet certain criteria in order for that to happen. Let me enumerate some of those criteria. We would have to come up with all the capital costs of the project. Small task. It would have to be an iconic building. It would have to provide additional features and access to the public. The project would have to be accepted by the community. It should pay for itself or close to it, become a substantial destination, generate significant economic impact for the city and the region, help ISHOF become financially independent, integrate itself with all of the activities in the barrier island. Now I was really hearing loud and clear the theme song for Mission Impossible. After a short reflection, maybe a week or so, I called Corey and I explained, Corey, I think I have a plan. And I said, let's meet with Bill. And I shared with them the the vision and the process to which we can make this work. After getting the buy-in from Ansel Phelps and a unanimous vote from the board of directors of the International Swimming Hall of Fame, this was our shot. This was our time to try to solve this puzzle. Soon after, the city was receptive to the plan, and we had a shot at this, but we had to get it right out of the gate. We felt that something was still missing. How to turn this into a major destination? And the answer came from the city manager, who introduced me to a guy called Rich Walter, who's standing right there. And Rich was looking for a place to build an aquarium for the city of Fort Lauderdale. And after some due diligence, some market research, then it confirmed that we could go from our projected 30,000 visitors a year to a potential 350,000 visitors a year. This was the final missing link to this complex deal. Following the redevelopment and validation of the plan with city officials and third-party experts, we were grateful for the majority support under the leadership of the mayor, Vice Mayor Glassman, who's also my fellow board member on ISHOF, Commissioner Beasley Pittman, and Commissioner Herbst. All the strategic tenants were secured and signed up as the lead players paying off this massive $218 million investment that we've put together. Finally, here we are today, signing the master lease agreement, which is the most significant of all the documents relating to this project, enabling us to go to a financial closing in a few weeks. I am so grateful for all of your unconditional support, even when things seem very challenging, as Commissioner Glassman mentioned at times. But perseverance, shared vision, incredible amount of teamwork, and investments in this project made it all possible. We are far from over. There's a lot of work still to be done, but I can promise you we will get it done. And I'll see you all at the groundbreaking in September and at the grand opening end of 27 or beginning of 28. Thank you very much.
I think it was I started with the city as the finance director. Shortly thereafter, this came to my desk, and my charge was just, doing the financial analysis. But I remember thinking, this is such a beautiful project. I carried it with me to my role as assistant city manager, and couldn't be prouder that today I actually get to be the signature on the documents
I'll just echo what everyone has said. Thank you, Susan. There are so many people in here that you could go around the room and individually thank all of them. Everyone here has contributed. And Stephanie, thank you for all of your help. I mean, I find it very neat that we're standing in the building.
Dodie.
Dodie snuck in the back. I didn't see her. But we're actually standing in the building where we turned in our first unsolicited proposal to the city. So Stephanie had carved the way for us, and this was really the path that led us to where we are. So these are the three folks that really carried the water on behalf of the city, on behalf of the CGHB development team, and on behalf of the International Swimming Hall of Fame. So thank you to everyone.
Jennifer, do you have these things?
Are you
pulling everything out?
I have these things, I'm going to lay them out.
Okay.
Jennifer's another one that does all the work.
I'm the attorney defender, so people don't like attorneys.
She's one of the few that puts up with me. Just so everybody knows, we brought the pens. When we finish, we're going to take them back. We'll have them engraved and reissue them out too.
So Jennifer, why don't you tell everyone what we are signing
Okay,
today?
so the first document we're going to sign is the ground lease. And what Jackie did is, we were going to have to write all this in, so she typed it in and wrote it to me, so we're just switching those out, ground lease. Okay.